Hey guys, welcome back to Path to Profit. Long time no speak. I am so excited for today's episode because we're going to be answering a question that I know 99.9% of you guys listening have, and that is why aren't people buying from me? I was recently looking at my own Shopify analytics and I want to tell y'all what I saw. So I pulled up the last 5 years, so 5 years worth of analytics, and what I saw was that I had almost 300,000 sessions to my store. Out of those 300,000 sessions, 20,096 people actually added something to their cart. And when you compare that to your own store, you may think that sounds really good, or you may say that sounds really bad. Totally up to you to decide, right? But here's what's actually painful to me personally. So out of those almost 300,000 sessions, I got only 3,992 people to actually complete a checkout. So that came up to a 1.3% conversion rate. So out of those almost 300,000 sessions, only 1.3% of them resulted in a sale. So you might be thinking, well, that's not terrible. And you're right, it's not terrible. It's something. I mean, it's 3,992 people, but here's what is keeping me up at night, okay? If I could just get that up to 3%, like literally just 3%, the revenue difference there would be huge. Like tens of thousands of dollars, huge, in additional sales from the same traffic. So I'm not saying, oh, I wish I could get 3% more traffic. I'm saying, I wish I could figure out how to get 2.7% more of the traffic that I'm already getting to actually buy, right? So today we're going to be diving into why people don't buy and more importantly, how to fix it. And by the end of today's episode, you're going to know the 5 biggest reasons why customers abandon their carts and leave your website, how to identify why you're losing sales. I'm going to give you some simple changes and fixes that you can make to increase your conversions almost immediately. And then lastly, I'm going to give you some real examples from my own business of what actually worked and what I saw or what I did to get a increase in my sales. So if you've ever wondered why people aren't buying from you, this episode is for you and I hope you enjoy it. So first things first, I know that this is your biggest frustration because it has been my biggest frustration since day one. You will never have a 100% conversion rate, friend. Like, let's not even shoot for the stars. In fact, you'll likely never have a 50%, likely never have a 20%. The industry average conversion rate is only 2 to 3%. And that's why I'm like, if I could just get this to 3%, I would be a-okay. So the frustration often comes from, people saying, I love your products. I love how you dress. This is so cute. Or I'm buying on Friday. And then Friday comes and they're nowhere to be found. You got all these people liking and commenting and sharing your posts, and they're literally not even clicking the link, let alone adding to cart. Or you got people who are adding to cart and they add to cart regularly. You see the same names popping up all the time, but they keep abandoning the checkout. Or you got all these people visiting your website from your content, from your ads, from your emails, but then they bounce after a few seconds, and that's crazy. So the first instinct for most people is maybe it's my pricing. Like I've heard that so many times. I think it's my pricing. My prices are too high. I should probably just run a sale. Let me send out a discount code real quick. Maybe I just need some more followers. Maybe I need a new email list. I've heard all of these things so often. But the truth of the matter is that pricing, discounts, and traffic are rarely the real issue as to why people aren't buying. The real issue for most is that there's just friction there. There is something literally causing them to hesitate, causing them to doubt that they should make this purchase, or their frustration is actually just stopping them from buying. And we're going to talk about this frustration because there are a lot of people who are shopping online that are literally not buying simply because they're frustrated. So let's hop into these 5 reasons why customers don't buy and how to fix them. Starting with number one, which is lack of trust. Basically, they literally don't know if they can trust you yet. And that may sound like a simple thing, but like I want you to really think about that. I see this post on my explore page, this cute girl wearing this cute outfit. I click the Instagram, I see it's a boutique. It's my first day here. I don't know nothing about you. I don't know nothing about your business. I don't know nothing about the quality of your products. I know nothing. But I like your outfit. But I have so many things going through my mind about whether or not I can trust this brand that I'm not gonna buy today. Like I'm gonna go looking for an explanation or a reason, not an explanation, a reason to buy. I'm looking for something to convince me that I should stay here. And so I learned this personally the hard way when I first started my boutique. I was so focused on just getting the store up and running and like actually showcasing the products that I didn't even think about things like reviews or social proof. I didn't think about how much information I needed to provide in a product description. I just figured that if my product was good, people would just go ahead and buy it because clearly, if you like it, you buy it. But that's not actually how consumers work. You don't work like that. And so people thinking about shopping with your brand don't work like that. So what actually ends up happening is people started, or ended up happening for me, people started reaching out and asking if I had pictures of other people wearing the items. Like literally, people would say, "You look so cute in that. Do you have pictures of anybody else? Do you have any other models?" No, I don't. And so what I realized was one, they needed to see something else on the product page, but also they wanted to know that this is going to work for them. They needed validation. I was pencil thin when I first started my boutiques, like so skinny, like a cigarette. And people would say, "You're so cute and little, but I got curves and I have a butt. I don't know if this is going to work for me." And so it made me realize that small changes like adding somebody else's body, having someone who had already purchased it send me a picture of them wearing it would make a huge difference in getting people to actually go ahead and buy this product. They wanted to see proof that real people were buying from me and that they actually liked it when they got it, right? And so I realized that trust isn't automatic. Just because something looks good does not make it good. You know, everything that glitters is not gold. We've heard this time and time again. So the truth of the matter is that you have to build trust, and you build it not by just showing up consistently, but by making actual changes to how you present your brand and your products to the world. Trust issues are happening all around us every single day. And small things like not having reviews or testimonials or your website looking unprofessional, unorganized, all of this is going to make people not want to buy. If you're just showing them products, but not showing them pictures of real people wearing or using those products, they don't buy. So obviously, the fix here is showing them social proof, adding things like customer reviews and testimonials, pictures of real people using and wearing your products. Use video content, like especially in the age of AI, it is so easy to manipulate a picture of a thing and make it look like something that it is not. And we don't want that to be what you're doing. We want to make sure that you're representing the product the way that it actually is going to be received by them. But use video content to show behind the scenes, to show them that the products are real, show them that they stretch, show them on other bodies. Like I used to have my sisters come over and literally just put the clothes on. I'm like, I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna create a video. One time I showed up to my mom's house because I knew my mom and my sisters were all gonna be there. And we all put on the same outfit. And I just took pictures of all of us and I put them on my Instagram, all of us side by side. And that sold hundreds of a specific product, like one product, hundreds of one product, because people were like, "Thank God I can see this on on a body that looks just like mine." I was one size, my sisters were two different sizes, my mom was a different size, and that worked well for all people who resonated with what they were seeing. Something else you can fix is making your website look more professional. I literally, till this day, 7 years into business, have still not hired a professional website designer, y'all. I have been designing my own website since day one. So, making your website look professional has little to nothing to do with hiring someone. You need things like clear fonts, easy navigation, high quality images. Like, actually take the time to curate what you want the website to look like. Like, take a moment to look at other websites, see how they're outlined, see how they're organized, and mirror that. That's all I've been doing for the last 7 years. So, with that in mind, here's the thing. Instead of you saying very basic things like, "This is the best candle ever, you're gonna love it, it's gonna make your house smell so good," that's what people be saying in their product descriptions. What you want to do is actually post customer reviews. Even if the customer is your mom, your aunt, your cousin, your best friend, they're still a customer at the end of the day. Start asking them to give you reviews, real words, okay? And put them through the proper channels. Like, don't let them just send you text message, although those count. Tell them to submit them through the proper channels on your website. So you can say things in your product description like, this candle fills my whole house with the best scent. Or you wouldn't say that in your product description. I mean, you could, but tell them to say that. Like, if that's what they feel, have them say in the product, in the review. So long story short, your own perspective of your brand is not enough. That's my point. If you're trying to build trust with complete strangers, it's going to take more than just showcasing pretty pictures of products. That is the key. People buy from people that they trust, from brands that they trust. And so if you're not giving them reasons to trust you, they're literally not buying. Case closed. Now, reason number two why people aren't buying, we're going to go a little bit deeper here, is confusing websites. They get frustrated and they leave. So I want you to envision this. You spend all this time posting content on social media, showcasing your products. People love them. They're like, wow, this is amazing. I love it. I'm going to go to the website. I'm going to go buy that thing. They land on the website, click the link in your bio. They land on your homepage. Your homepage has something completely irrelevant, maybe outdated, maybe out of season. The product that they're looking for is not on the homepage, so now they got to go looking for it. So naturally, they go and they click the menu, but they're looking at the menu and they're like, which of these selections do I click? Sometimes it's just not as simple as it should be. You should be making it easy for people to buy the things that you want them to buy. And again, that requires you to do work to make it not complicated. Too many businesses make it complicated for people to make a buying decision. Like, they can't even make it to the cart because they can't make it to the products. We're not even seeing that that's what's happening. You posted a product. I landed on your website. I don't see that product. Now I have to go look for that product. I have to go work to find the product. No, absolutely not. So, what I want you guys to know is that over these last 7 years, like I said, I've been doing my own website, building it myself, designing it myself. I've redone my website so many times over the years. And honestly, almost every time I've redone it, I thought my website was fine. And I thought it was fine because I was getting sales. But in all actuality, I wasn't getting nearly the amount of sales that I wanted, nearly the amount of sales that I needed. And that meant that I needed to change something. I literally kept feeling like I deserved more sales based on the traffic that I was getting, but I wasn't getting the sales. So, what did I do? I sent out a survey to my repeat customers. So anybody that had placed more than 2 orders from my brand. And this survey asked them a bunch of questions about my brand. Well, not a bunch, but some smart questions about their shopping experience with my brand. And one of those questions was, do you feel my website is hard to navigate? Do you know that like 90% of them said yes, it's very difficult. Like, it was one of those sliding scale things where it was like not difficult, somewhat difficult, like that. And they were like very difficult. Shocked me. I thought it was easy peasy lemon squeezy. It wasn't to the people that it mattered to. And so these were people who literally liked me enough to buy something multiple times, even though they were struggling to find what they wanted. And so it made me think about the people who did not buy anything. Oh, they're not buying because my website is difficult to navigate. It hit me real hard, I'm not gonna lie, but it hit me right in the right place and it let me know that I needed to make a change. So what I ended up doing was simplifying everything. Things that I had added, to make the website look better and more flashy and all that good stuff. I just took it all away and made it as simple as humanly possible. That's what I'm looking for. As humanly possible for them to find what I wanted them to find. I made my best sellers easier to find. I cleaned up my navigation and made it more simple and seamless. Like, there was no mistaking where something was located because I made sure the menu made it clear. And ultimately, what that did was it made checkout faster. As a result, I got more sales. It was that simple, y'all. I asked the question. They told me it was difficult. I mean, if I needed to know what was difficult, I could have reached out, but I just looked at it and said, okay, these parts are probably difficult. Let's change it. One of the things that was a difficulty, and I think that I see this a lot coaching and, auditing businesses and things like that. Oftentimes there's just too many clicks to buy. So again, I want you to envision you posting content with the desire for someone to go to your website and buy that thing, but they click the link in your bio and they're taken to your homepage. And let's say the home page, they click into a collection, but the product that they're looking for is not on page one, and it's also not on page two, and it's also not on page three. And at this point, I'm annoyed because where is this product that I want to buy? Now, I could go back to your Instagram and say, hey, can you help me find this product? But guess what? That's another click. And by the time I've clicked out of your website to go back to Instagram or back to TikTok or wherever, you lost me 9 times out of 10. So if checkout isn't smooth, people are going to leave. If they can't make it to the checkout because they can't find the product, no checkouts occur. Some other things that I find to be an issue are like slow load times. The page just takes way too long to load. There are people that have, flashing lights and 17 banners, and the files are huge, and you don't even know it. And before you know it, people are just like, I ain't got time for this. I'm leaving. So, how do we fix it? You're going to simplify your navigation, make sure that people can find what they're looking for. You should not just have a clothing uh, tag or tab in your navigation. You should not just have a all products and then I got to go searching for the products. I need specificity. Is that the word? Yes, specificity. I need that. If it's clothing, underneath clothing better be dresses, bottoms, tops, shoes, accessories, so on and so forth. And guess what? Those might need, depending on the size of your inventory, like the bigger your inventory, the more navigation you need. Depending on the size of your inventory, I might need more navigation. So dresses might need maxi dress, midi dress, mini dress. And tops might need tank top, sweater, blouses. And outerwear might need jackets, cardigans, coats, so on and so forth. Think about Fashion Nova. Y'all know I hate using them as an example, but they're just like the best massive example to use. If you go look at their menu right now, you're going to see so many options in that menu, and it's because of the size of their inventory. They have a lot, and they want to make it so easy for you to find what you're looking for. I remember one night I went to Fashion Nova to search for a dress for something, maybe like a photo shoot or something. I went to the dresses collection. There were probably like 8,000 dresses. No exaggeration, y'all. So then I just went to the search bar and I was like, okay, blazer dress. I typed in blazer dress. Thank God they named the products what they are for the most part. And that narrowed dresses down to like 124 or something like that. Thank you so much for making it easy for me to get where I wanted to go. There was also a blazer dress collection underneath dresses. Made my life so much more simple. So simplify the navigation. That's going to be your first fix. Your homepage should direct people exactly where you want them to go. So if you're prioritizing Valentine's Day, it's almost Valentine's Day right now. If you're prioritizing Valentine's Day or a Valentine's Day collection or products for Valentine's Day, make it easy for me to get to the Valentine's Day stuff. Don't make me have to go and search for the Valentine's Day stuff. You want to make sure you optimize that website for mobile. I want to say something like 70 to 80% of online store sessions are happening on a mobile device, a cell phone, not desktop. So what happens for a lot of people is that they design their website for desktop because you design it on desktop, but then they forget to toggle over to the mobile view and see what it looks like on mobile. Same for your emails too. I know that's off topic, but your emails too. You want to make sure that you don't just design your emails for desktop and that you hover over to the mobile view so you can see what that's going to look like on a mobile device. The point here is that if your site isn't mobile friendly, you're going to lose customers every time. Next, speed up the checkout. Offer easy ways for people to get to the checkout, number one, but also for them to pay how they want to pay. So having things like Apple Pay, PayPal, Shop Pay, not just enter your credit card information, because guess what? Most people don't want to get up to have to find their credit card. Not everybody is saving their credit card information to their phone or to their desktop, so it's not an easy, just like fill it in type of thing. Now, if you're on Shopify, of course, typically if you shopped on a Shopify website, your information is already saved. But my point is that you don't want to just give them options to shop the way that you shop. You want to give them the options to shop the way that they may shop. And that means adding multiple payment options. So, my point here is that if somebody is landing on your website and they're confused, they're leaving. So, make it like brain dead simple for them to buy. Like they should not be confused at all. Everything should be self-explanatory, friends. Point number three, why people aren't buying. This is a big one. It's a big one. I hope we don't have to talk about this one too long. The third one is an unclear offer. They don't see the value in buying the thing. Everything that you sell is an offer at the end of the day, in my opinion. So, like, yes, you sell a product, but you're offering a product to them, and you get to decide how you want to offer that to them. You get to decide if this is going to be you selling the product alone. You get to decide if it's going to be a bundle. You get to decide if it's going to be an outfit versus the singular product. You get to decide, my friend. Now, customers, what I've seen, customers don't buy basically if they don't understand why your product is worth it. And when I say worth it, I don't mean just like, is it worth the $27 that you're charging? Like, I'm saying in relation to other places that I could shop, in relation to other things that I could spend $27 on today, is it worth it for me to spend my $27 here and also now? It's not always now. Sometimes they're going to spend it, just not now. But we need to figure out how to get them to spend it here and also now. So, for a long time, I was very guilty of this, my friends. I used to just list like bullet points in the product descriptions, and I would be like, 100% cotton, machine washable, models wearing a size small, available in three colors. Anybody's product description sound like that? I know it does. You don't have to tell me. That's pretty boring. It's exactly what needs to be said, obviously, but it's not selling the thing. It's just listing the features of the thing. It's not making it worth it to me. It doesn't matter what the thing is. You telling me what I can see on the screen already doesn't help me. And you telling me that it's machine washable, because guess what? I was going to put it in the washing machine anyway, regardless of what, it just doesn't help. So, long story short, I started treating my product descriptions like sales associates. I literally started talking like one because, as y'all know, I worked in retail for 11 years before I started a boutique. So I just started thinking how I worked back then. And basically, I used my product descriptions to answer questions that customers would have and to make them like feel something about the product instead of it just being like soft cotton hoodie. I would write things like, you'll never want to take this off. You're going to want to wear this every day. This is going to be your emotional support hoodie. I literally have a post on my Instagram right now about an emotional support hoodie. I took it an extra mile, basically. Like, I don't want you to just add another hoodie to your collection. Like, and I'm saying this because this is how I used to talk. I used to be like, add another hoodie to your loungewear collection. And I would, as a consumer, me, I would literally be like, why do I need to add another hoodie to my collection? I have plenty, so many of them that I haven't worn in a while. But if you say like this one is so soft, you'll never want to take it off. It's perfect for them lazy Sundays. If you tell me like, you sit at that desk for 12 hours a day and you about to put your hood on and you don't want to sweat while you're sitting there, and you also don't want to be itchy underneath, really judging it up. I'm literally visualizing like, yes, I am gonna be sitting at my desk for 12 hours straight, and yes, I am gonna have on a hoodie, and yes, I am gonna put the hood up, and yes, that hoodie does get hot when I turn on my heater. No, but you're telling me that this one's gonna be the one for me? Okay, I'm intrigued personally. So you really want to make people picture themselves in it, because that's what's gonna actually help to sell. And then as far as an offer, it's like, how do I get them to take advantage of this right now? What can I do or say or give them that makes them feel like I need to do it today? So you might say something like, and by the way, we have this available in three colors. And when you buy two or more, you're going to get an extra 15% off. That sounds really valuable. Or if you say this is a limited edition hoodie, it is not going to be restocking, gives me more incentive to buy today instead of it being like, I'm gonna think on it. It's like, oh shoot, this is a limited edition. They're down to the last 14. And if I buy two of them, I can get an extra 15% off. You know what? I'm gonna add this to my cart. So my point here is that we are not just supposed to be posting products out here, y'all. We are supposed to actually be selling them. And I can tell you this because as someone who has a extensive sales background at this point. The 11 years of me working in retail combined with the 7 years that I've been running my online boutique, that's 18 years straight of me selling stuff, y'all. Please take my advice when I tell you that they do not need to hear you say that it's 100% cotton and machine washable. They don't care. You need to actually say something that would matter. These basic and vague descriptions of the products, they don't help you. You need to explain why your product is different from the competitors. Why should I care? You got to give them something to connect to emotionally, because people are not buying just because. They're not going to buy the features. I'm not buying something because it's machine washable. I'm not buying something because it's available in 3 colors. I'm not buying something because the model is wearing a size small. I'm going to buy because of the feeling that the thing is going to give me, plain and simply. So, to fix that, what do we need to change? First things first, we want to highlight benefits, not just the features. So, what am I going to get out of this? Like, what's going to be the benefit to me having it? So, again, instead of saying like 100% cotton, you want to say something like so soft, you'll never want to take it off. Use storytelling. This is going to make a huge difference, y'all. And I don't want to hear y'all say, I don't know how to tell a story. Guess what? Chat GPT does, Claude does. Perplexity, I don't know if it tells stories. I think that one does research. What's that other one? Claude, Gemini. Gemini can use AI. Let it help you. You want to show them or explain to them how this product is going to fit into their lives. Show them what makes the product unique. Is it limited edition? Are there better ingredients in this thing? Is it more durable than other options? Tell them what would actually matter. Okay. So instead of you telling me that these candles are handmade, because I'm not going to lie to you, I don't care. I don't even know what that, like, how is a candle not handmade? I don't know. Anyway, tell them like it's hand poured, toxin free, things like that, you know? Tell them that it's designed to bring peace to your space after a long day. Those are the types of things that are going to make people feel something. And feelings are what actually drive purchases. I will never forget hearing this statement that people make purchasing decisions based on emotion first, and then they justify it later with logic. So it has to be me thinking about the emotion first and foremost. Otherwise, they're not even telling themselves that they should buy it. Okay. Moving on to point number 4 and why people are not buying things. No urgency. They feel like they can wait. Now, we briefly talked about this, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more deeper here. They can't wait. Like, you cannot make them think that they can wait. Now, I know depending on what you sell, they can actually, in fact, wait. And what I'm not telling you to do is create fake urgency. I don't want anybody to do that. But we do need to talk about urgency because it is a sales strategy at the end of the day, y'all. So, the thing I've learned in all these years of sales is that if people think that they can buy anytime, they will wait. And sometimes waiting turns into never. They never come back. I will never forget all the different places I worked where someone would say, I'll be back on Friday. And we only have 4 of the thing. And let's say it's Monday. So we got 4 days before this person says they're going to be back. Well, 4 days. And even if we just sell one per day, by the time they make it back, it's gone. And now they're looking at me sad. And I'm like, girl, I didn't have no control over the inventory here. This is not my fault. But the problem was that there was no urgency to buy it right now. I've seen this happen so many times in my retail experience as well as in my own business. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. People would just come back. I don't know if y'all have ever seen this. I've seen people come back to my website over and over and over again, add the same products to their cart over and over again, and then like never buy it. And then they come back some random day, like, are you gonna restock that one thing? Like, no, you should have bought it when it was there. But the problem is that they didn't buy it because there was no urgency. Now, the crazy part is that the second I added urgency, especially when it was like seasonally relevant or it was like a trending item that we couldn't restock, it would literally just sell out in that moment, which was, it was nuts to me. I'm not gonna lie. It was really strange to me. Like, I just need to say something. I just need to tell you this part and that made you buy. Okay, got it. So let me give you an example. So I had a product, I've had plenty of products, but I had a product that wasn't moving like at all. Like wasn't moving at all. Nothing, not one sold. And that was very rare for me. Like I'm not typically a person that doesn't get any sales on a thing. But this one thing was not moving. Crazy. So one day I was like, limited stock. Like that's it. I'm like, there's a limited quantity of these available. And I probably told them how many, six. You know, most things in for boutiques come in packs of six. There are only six available. Once it's gone, and we can't restock. Sold out in days. No joke. No joke, y'all. And again, I'm not telling you to lie. Like this wasn't a lie. This was literally like we only have six. Like that's it. That's all we have. And once it's gone, it's gone. Because and I meant that because I was even though we could have restocked it, I was not going to restock it because I had never had anything sit for so long. Um, Sold out. No joke. Same product, same price, just some urgency on top. So I learned that lack of urgency happens when there's no reason to buy now. And basically, your products to the customer, it feels like, oh, they're always available. There's no exclusivity here. There's literally nothing that I'm missing out on. Like there's no FOMO, as the people say. You gotta judge the situation up. Hey, there's only six. I don't care if you only started with six. There's only six. Let them know. That is nothing to be embarrassed about. That is a sales strategy. Literally, you telling them how many are there is a sales strategy. Because what happens is they think to themselves, wow, only six? But you have 1,274 followers. Yeah, we do. So if you want to be one of the six to get this thing, you should probably buy it. That's what happens in the customer's brain the moment that they know how many are there. So obviously the fix here is to use some scarcity. Tell them if there's only three left. They need to know that information. You can also offer limited time deals, of course, but don't just offer the deal and say everything is 40% off. You want to say everything's 40% off for the next however long, or for the next however many customers, or for the next however many minutes, hours, days, so on and so forth. And ultimately, you want to promote the exclusivity that exists if there is exclusivity. If there's something that is a limited edition item or only a certain number of people are going to get to take advantage of it, or if it's only for VIP customers, tell them that will matter in the long run. I promise you that. So again, instead of being vague and saying things like shop now, you want to say something like only available this weekend. Once it's gone, it's gone. Period. Hard stop. That little statement can create some urgency. And basically, the point is that urgency is going to drive action. People do not want to miss out on a good thing. Big things that I've learned from making small changes. All right, so let's go into the last reason why people aren't buying, and that would be price objection. So notice how we didn't start with pricing because y'all love to say, I think my price too high. No, friend. Now, sometimes it is, but not always. So, for some people, they are not buying because they need a reason to justify the price that you're selling the thing at. Most of the time, again, pricing is not the issue. It's really the perceived value of the thing. Like basically, they don't see it as being worth $54. So you have to figure out how to make the perceived value of that thing increase. How do I make them feel like it is worth more than they think it's worth currently? If somebody thinks that something is too expensive, it usually means that they just don't see the full value of the thing, or they don't see the value in it that you see in it. So I want to give you an example. Most of the products that I sell at the most, I would sell at like 45, maybe $49. And that's on purpose. I try to stay within like a very reasonable price point, which means that I buy products at a reasonable price point. But I remember there was a cardigan that I really liked, and I felt like it would be really nice for my customers. They could layer it on top of the things that we sold because we sell basics, and I decided to get this sweater. And so I remember buying two colors, pink or fuchsia and a teal. I bought one pack of each. Each pack came with six, two smalls, two mediums, two larges. I had never sold this cardigan before, but it was more pricey than anything that I typically would buy. And so that meant that I had to sell it for more than I would typically sell it for. So I chose the price, $69.90. And I honestly thought that price was way too high for my customers. And I was really nervous about it. And again, I only had 12 total, six of each color. So I was nervous, but I wasn't like scared because I had plenty of inventory. If it didn't work out at its worst, I'm going to just sell it at a discount and move it, right? So at first, it was like, wow, this is not moving. But I made some changes, right? So instead of dropping the price, because that's never my first resort, I decided to just market it different. And that often is where the perceived value is. So initially, I was just showcasing it the same way that I showcase all my products, which wasn't in a bad way, but it was just how I showcase my products normally. And my normal price is somewhere between, $14 and $44 or $49. So I just decided to showcase it in better and different ways in my content. I styled it multiple ways. I showed it on different body types. I filmed it in different settings around my house, outside of my house, in my car. Like I went the mile. I took it there, guys. I did a ton of video content and made it appear basically more luxurious than our typical loungewear. And as a result, it sold really well. By the weekend, it was gone in both colors. And I was contacting my vendor to see if I could get more. And I'll never forget it. I sold through them. I was so shocked that I sold out of them. The teal one, I could not get any more of. It was sold out, but I was able to get the fuchsia. And I remember going from having one singular pack of that fuchsia and ordering 9 packs. So I went from selling 6 to selling, what's 9 times 6? 54, I think. Oh, don't get me if my math wrong. 54. I'm like, yeah, let me get 54 more of those. And by the way, I got 1 pack of, I think, gray, like a cream color and a black color, 1 pack, because I wanted to test some other colors. And I restocked them on my website, and those sold out within like a day or two, which it blew my mind. But I knew that it was because I just changed the marketing around it, and the fact that it had sold out already, that too increased the perceived value. It was like, oh wait, people love this. I love this too. I want one too. So because I changed the perceived perception or the perception of value for that product, people wanted it. It's crazy, right? People didn't just see it as another cardigan. They saw it as a versatile, high quality piece that they could dress up and down because I changed how I showcased it in the content. Instead of it just being, we just dropped a new cardigan, it was like, no, we just dropped the cardigan of the season. Here's why. And I showed them all the ways that they could style it. And I just had a lot of fun creating that content. I remember it. It was a good time. And so my point for this one is, if you're going to fix this, you have to break down the value of the product that you're trying to sell. You want to be able to compare your product to alternatives and show them why it's worth more. So if, for example, I sold other cardigans for less money. I had sold them a cardigan before for $39. So they're like, why do I need to pay $70 for a cardigan? Like, what makes this one so good? I had to show them, literally. Also, simple, which you likely already do, I hope. Offer them good old buy now, pay later. So if price is your objection here, that's fine. You can split it in four, my friend. Pay 25% now and 25% 2 weeks from now until it's paid off, you know? These types of things make higher prices feel way more manageable. I don't know about y'all, but I don't care how much money I make. I will justify buying something the moment that I see I can use Affirm. Thank you. I was just laughing with my husband about my Peloton downstairs that I never use. When I bought that Peloton, I put it on Affirm. No joke. And I have 2 payments left on that Peloton of like $78. And I've been paying it for like 2 years or something like that. No joke, y'all. I'm not joking. Like $78. They let me spread it. No, I think actually more than 2 years. I think they let me spread the payments across 36 months. Absolutely. Sign me up. Loved it. So offer those. If you don't have them, they make a big difference. Last thing I would say you could do is use bundles or like free shipping thresholds. Basically, if they feel like they can get better bang for their buck, they do sometimes. People will spend more money to unlock a better deal. So if they feel like shit, and I don't know about y'all, but shipping is, I don't want to pay that. And as a person who understands how shipping is charged, I don't want to pay that. I will literally go and look and see what else is on this website so I don't have to pay for this shipping. I'm like, $14? No, I'd rather get something tangible. This is here. I want y'all to really like open your brain when I say this. I would rather get something tangible and spend $27 more than to spend $14 on something intangible. The shipping is not a tangible something. Like I'm going to receive a product, but I got to pay $14 to get it to me. Or I could spend $107, spend $27 more, and I get two things and I pay nothing to get it shipped to me. Perception is key here, y'all. So having a free shipping threshold, I promise you, if you are not giving them like, free shipping over a certain amount right now, please add that. It can make a huge difference. Like, no joke. So instead of you saying like $50 for a hoodie, because guess what? I don't want to pay $50 for no hoodie personally. You got to make that messaging sound a lot better. You might say something like ultra soft premium quality hoodie that lasts years, not just a season. It's like, oh, I'm considering it now. I probably still wouldn't pay $50 for a hoodie, but like my point is that the perceived value has to be there. You got to make the $50 feel like it's more of an investment, not just a price tag. Because for most people, you're making your products just have like a price tag. And I don't see that as an investment in my closet. I don't see that as an investment in my home. Like my Peloton, for example, I looked at that price tag and said, wow, that's a lot. But I saw it as an investment, not in you know, Peloton, but in my body, in my physique, in my health, justified. So price objections really aren't about the number. They're really about whether or not people believe that it's worth the number that they see on the screen. Okay. So, how do you identify where you're losing sales? Because you might be listening to this and maybe you're thinking, like, uh, girl, you just gave me five things to consider, and I think I might be in all the buckets, and that might be true. So, what I would recommend doing first things first is looking at your analytics. Look at where people are dropping off. Look at your cart abandonment rate. If you have Google Analytics, you can look at your website bounce rate. You can look at your checkout completions on Shopify if you're on Shopify. These are numbers that will literally tell you where problems are existing. So at the beginning, I mentioned to you guys how I had this huge gap between the amount of website sessions that I was getting in comparison to the number of add to carts that I was getting. That doesn't tell me that I have a cart issue. Like that doesn't tell me that there's something wrong on the cart page. That tells me that there's something wrong with the website. The website is not getting people to at least add to cart. So you want to make sure you look at the analytics because it's going to give you a good place to start in your, search for answers. Um, for example, if people are adding to cart but not checking out, you may have like a trust issue or a checkout friction issue. It could be adding that free shipping threshold that we were just talking about. If you notice that people are coming to your website but leaving really quickly, it could be your navigation, it could be the organization of your homepage. Maybe they can't find what they're looking for. Also, consider that customers need support, like adding what's that thing called? Like a chat box that can play a huge role so that they have a way to ask you questions. You could also just ask your customers directly. So, as I mentioned, I sent a survey out to my return customers and asked them what they thought of my website, and they told me. So, you too could ask people what they think, and you can use polls, surveys, follow up emails to ask them why they didn't buy. I've done that as well. And you'll learn a lot from talking to real people, plain and simply. So your customers are literally telling you why they're not buying. You just have to listen. So let's recap. There are five key reasons why people don't buy, and let's go through them one more time. So the first is lack of trust. Secondly, confusing website. Third, unclear offers. Fourth, no urgency. And fifth, price objections, basically saying that the value of that product is not clear. So I promise y'all, like, promise you, fixing these issues will increase your purchases. They will increase your conversions. Your conversion rate will go up without you needing more traffic. This is not a conversation of you should run some more ads, you should send some more emails, you should post more. No. If you're already getting traffic, if it's already you're already getting the traffic that you need. Like if you've done the math and you know exactly how much traffic you need to your store and you're meeting those numbers, but you're not actually seeing the money, making these small changes could make a huge difference. Going from my, for example, 1.3 conversion rate to even just a 2 or 3% is life-changing money. Like so big. So take a moment when you have time to look at your analytics and test some small changes and really take a moment to listen to the customer feedback if you do decide to accept it, because that could be really, really helpful. And if you solve these problems, you'll start seeing more people actually checking out instead of just browsing your site and doing nothing. Now, next week, because I'm currently doing this like 12-week year situation. I don't know if you guys have read that book before, but I'm following the 12-week year. So I am on a mission to be here on this podcast every single week. So next week, we're going to dive into a few things. We're probably going to talk about the difference between good marketers and good salespeople. I hope I'm not lying, but I think that that's the next week's topic, and it's going to be a really good one. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know on Instagram. Send me a message. Let me know what your favorite part was. Let me know what you're going to try or what changes you're going to make in your own business. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know. My door is always open. I would love to hear from you guys. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was a fun one, and I will talk to you in the next one. Holla! That was so lame. Okay, bye.